We had this romantic idea of a Garden of Eden with animals running around, beautiful plants and parkland. The reality is, though, that animals eat everything. So we never quite got the Garden of Eden.
Hello, Rachel. It's Madeline. You wanted to buy eggs with me? Well, I didn't, but one of my customers has just stopped until after Christmas, and they were getting 6 dozen, so I've got 6 dozen spare. Okay. Oh, and they're $4.50 a dozen. They're certified organic, free-range.
Rob and Kalita met in the 80s and moved to Victoria with a scheme to breed ostriches.
We met up in northern New South Wales with a bunch of hippie friends, and now we're probably pretty conservative hippies.
They got out of ostriches before the downturn and made enough money to buy 400 acres north of Melbourne, with all the infrastructure for beef and wool production.
Hey Arthur, just go back a bit, Arthur.
There are sheep, cattle, pigs, poultry and goats. Rob and Kalita see the farm as an ideal place to bring up their children.
We've got a philosophy of not outsourcing our life. Instead of outsourcing the schooling of our kids, we were quite happy to do the schooling ourselves. We like that homegrown involvement in life.
Your tag.
73.
She weighs 46.
We're all born here on the farm, Hayley, Arthur and me.
Dan, pop them on.
We don't do sit-down classes.
Come on.
She weighs 51.
74.
We do some English, some maths, but it tends to be in everyday living rather than, sit-down lessons or sit-down books.
For Rob, a long run of dry seasons is taking a toll on cattle and sheep numbers. With the paddocks bare and feed costs escalating, he has reduced his stock by half.
George did about 75, including the 3 big rams. He doesn't like the big rams, but we've got to keep him happy with lots of cakes and cups of tea so he comes back next year. It's getting a lot harder to get shearers for scale that we are now. Well done.
When I was 8, I got 5 hens and started my own egg business. I am 12 now and I have a flock of 75 Bond Browns. The Bond Browns are the best layers and don't go broody.
We had this idea that it'd be really good if all the kids had a business. When Madeline showed some interest in the chooks and somebody wanted to buy some chooks, we said, Madeline, why don't you handle that? She might have been 6 or 7. She made the sale and got the money and ended up with the responsibility of feeding them and collecting the eggs. She gently moved into it with us, hoping that she'd learn the lesson of putting effort in, and if you put some effort in and produce something that people want, then you'll earn a quid.
118.
Madeline's doing very well with her chook business. She's the only unit on the farm that's making money at the moment, so that's a bit disappointing for us. But it's great for Madeline that she's doing well.
No mulberries.
We're going to one of my favourite spots, where the creek runs into the lake and where the islands are and the birds nest and the geese swim.
I was disillusioned with life when I was coming out of school. The prospect of having to face working 9 to 5 doing a job I didn't really enjoy just for money, and then to get pissed on the weekend as a way of having an outlet just was not appealing. So it started a lifelong search for for meaning.
Look, the swans are coming, Dad.
Yeah, they've still got 4. Yeah, they have. There goes Mummy and Dad. There they go to my fly. Isn't that magnificent? I feel like I've had to go out and learn myself what life's all about. Most of the time I feel like I'm travelling blind. I don't really know where I'm going or what we're doing, but there's a lot of joy in it, there's a lot of fun in it, and it does seem to be working. Most of the willows are dead here now. When it gets too dry, the water evaporates and the salt concentrates, and the willows can't stand it. So I'm hoping the natives will do better. This farm is about our love in that we've actually put being together above earning a fortune.
I live outside my own little house. I bought an incubator with some of my egg profits and I'm going to hatch some chicks out here. I spent a heap of money on it, so it better work. A broody hen can only hatch about 10 eggs at a time, but an incubator can hatch 50 or 100 eggs.
How many notches is there that's not parallel? Madeline will learn maths, she'll learn about caring, checking the eggs, checking the temperature, the humidity, checking to see if the eggs are rolling. There's a lot of learnings in there. Line on one side and a cross on the other. And she'll have some failures and some successes, and I don't mind the failures at all.
You need to do a smiley face.
This is incubation 101 on the farm. And the exam is the exam of life.
Having reached high school age, Madeline is considering a new local school started by children's author John Marsden, where the kids are encouraged to develop at their own pace and help each other with their learning.
The new school opened up the road, Candlebark. She's been asking about going there. So last year we went to have a look at it, and we both really liked it. John's an inspirational person and the teachers are very motivated and the classes are very small.
I haven't actually made a proper decision about school. I think Mum wants me to go because she thinks I'm not learning enough at home and she thinks I'll learn more at school.
Rob subdivides his paddocks into temporary cells using electric fencing.
If I just left them in that area for 12 days, they'd be starving the last 6 because they'd eat all the good grass first and they'd just be left with the rubbish. But if I move them every day, just ration it out, they'll last. A bit like when you go camping, you can't eat all your 5 days' food in the first day. There's just a bit of green here now. If we get some rain tomorrow, like forecast, might give a little bit of growth. Can you see any activity?
But the rain doesn't come and the paddocks fail to rejuvenate. There is an increasing problem of how to feed the stock.
Nothing wrong with them.
We've made tomato stew or something afterwards.
You like tomato soup too?
For $30 a week, the family get all the overripe fruit and vegetables from a local organic supplier.
We never know what it will be until it turns up on your veranda by the tons. Bananas, apples, kiwis, tomatoes, cabbage, lettuce, beetroot, broccoli, rockmelon, mushrooms.
Is that the rotten box?
That's the rotten box.
And lots more. So we feed the pigs, the goats, the chooks, the ducks, and Ellie's little guinea pigs.
Everyday living becomes a source of inspiration rather than being told what to learn.
Stick it at the bottom, not the top, Papa.
The stamps they're collecting, they're sorting into categories as animals, bridges, queens. And it's a source of inspiration. They look at them and they want to find out where they come from. My grandfather was the biggest stamp collector in Europe in the, I suppose, 1930s. Have you got a birds section?
Oh no.
You have to start a birds section. During the war, my father smuggled out of Romania because he was Jewish, and my grandfather gave him stamps that he put throughout his clothes for him to live on. My aunt sold one stamp in 1970 for $30,000.
I've got more customers than I can supply with eggs, so I'm pretty keen to build up my flock from the chickens in the incubator.
The eggs in the incubator require 21 days at a steady 37.5 degrees if they're to hatch. Halfway through their incubation, Madeline candles the eggs to check her success rate.
Look at the air bubbles.
There's a hen and the air bubble. That's a chicken. The black if they've got chickens in them. And the clear if they've got nothing in them. Empty. Mum?
Yep.
You read story time or not?
Yeah, I like your clothes awfully, old chap, he remarked, after some half an hour or so had passed. I'm going to get a black velvet smoking suit myself someday, as soon as I can afford it.
Have you seen a real octopus?
I have seen a real octopus, yeah.
I've seen a real octopus.
Yeah. All seemed very peaceful and deserted and quiet. He could see the front of Toad Hall glowing in the evening sunshine, the pigeons settling by twos and threes along the straight line of the roof, the garden a blaze of flowers. Oh, great! Strips of poles set in front of them.
You need to have a new container. Fatty? Silly goat. Tastes good? Marcia is a good milker. She has a calm nature.
First term is underway, and Madeline is in a quandary about leaving the farm and going to school.
The only thing I don't like about the school is I would have to get up earlier, 5 days a week, and I have hardly any time to do my own stuff. Except for out to school, but you've got homework. It takes me about an hour each morning to my chooks, and at night when I go back from milking, it'd be really dark.
No!
Don't knock me after I'm doing milk.
Stop singing. Stop breathing.
Rob has constructed a dryer to try and preserve the excess fruit before it goes bad.
There must be a quicker way to do this commercially.
They're machines, Daddy.
How do the machines get the skins off?
Wrong knife, I want this knife.
Hey. And you can have these two.
Just give it to the pigs. Pigs are hungry.
I think we'll leave this one.
I'm just gonna get rid of all of those.
I worry a bit with the school system that the kids are being told to a large extent what to do and what to learn, and there's a lot of TV. All that time's organised almost from the time they get up to the time they go to bed. There you go.
Stick insect.
You have to tell Madeline
It was a
and other homeschoolers,
stick.
they know who they are because they've had to decide what they want to do each day of their life, and they make their decisions, and if they don't make a decision, nothing happens.
so cute. First banana.
Colita has bred miniature pigs for 10 years. They're sold as pets, and any left over are fattened for hams and salami.
There we go. Hello, piggy. Oh. Hello. Oh, Mama. Mama Piggy. Oh, no, you're Mama Piggy. See you later, Mum. Hello. 3, 4. 2 girls, 3 girls, 4 girls, 5 girls. My brother's junk. These are the chickens that hatched, but quite a few eggs didn't hatch. This little black one here is a little male, and this one here is a female. I can tell by the males have 2 layers of feathers. As you can see, the females, they have 1, 2, 3, 4 layers. And females often have tails, males often don't have tails because they develop fat and muscle first, and the females develop beauty and feathers. That's my way of saying it.
Most of the eggs died when power interruptions went unnoticed. Madeline reloaded the incubator and is monitoring the temperature closely. She needs to increase her flock of layers and has postponed delivery of chicks to her local clients. There are bushfires across Victoria and no sign of relief from the drought.
We're waiting for the rain to come.
Watch out, Arthur, duck.
If it doesn't come soon, we'll have to buy water for our stock. We're killing the male pigs. Arthur doesn't like it. That's why I'm covering his eyes.
He doesn't like it. Is that water hot?
Very hot. Pardon?
I cleaned your pool.
Oh, thank you.
I don't like killing animals, but I know on the farm, if they hadn't been bred for meat, they wouldn't have ever been bred at all. So, in other words, they wouldn't have ever had a chance to live. It's a lot better to kill them here than transport them to abattoir by truck. If they kill here, they just walk up a laneway and into a yard and then get killed. It's not very stressful at all.
Yeah, it's the kidneys. There's the kidneys there. Which normally they stay in up the top there.
It's the stomach, isn't it?
It's the stomach, yep.
Liver?
And the liver, which is basically much like a human liver. It's in 3 sections.
You should put that straight on the barbecue.
1, 2, 3, yep.
Dad likes it when us kids are around for slaughtering. So we can remember it's a farm, not a place only for pets.
That's the lungs, there. See that? No, no air at all.
What?
When the new term started, Madeline decided she would try the school.
She's not academically up with the other kids, but she fits in really well because she's so social. Everybody misses Madeline. It took a few months for the kids to get used to her not being there and to play more together rather than relying on Madeline to work out games and things. We all really cherish our time when she's home.
My favourite thing about the school is that the teachers teach what they are most into. So if their passion is art, they teach only art. So there's a teacher for each subject, and they're so energised by that subject. You learn so much about it. Yeah, I have heaps of friends that go there, and they hate weekends because they're not learning anything.
No one's about to hatch. There's one's about to hatch over there. It's making me free. Oh, stop moving, stop moving. Last time I counted, we had 21 hatched and we had 39 to go.
There's only one black one. You can tell this one was born first.
You don't take them all. Does that lady buy them?
Usually.
It's market day in Lancefield. When Madeline started her business, she sold a few dozen eggs. Now she sells eggs, chooks, ducklings and chickens, as well as roosters for breeding or eating.
So do you want some cake for breakfast, Madeline?
Cake? Ew.
The good thing about the Jooks is I seem to know everyone around here now.
I like the whitey ones, the whitey yellowish ones. They're cute.
The locals buy my Jooks because theirs got old and stopped laying or been killed by foxes.
Thank you.
Okay. See you later.
They live in a box at the moment with a desk lamp at the top to keep them warm. And food and water. Yep.
I can't really see a picture of myself in the future. Sometimes I think I'd like to be an artist, and other times I think I would like to be a farmer. But for now, I think I'll just follow the flow.
After years working other people's orchards, Brad and Isabel are betting their life savings on everything they've learned to grow their own organic raspberries.
If we can just keep producing fruit like this, we'll be fine.